introduction and just sharing what we are doing as an early stage investor, making investment in early stage deep tech portfolios here in Boston and also in the West Coast. So I'll open my talk about a little bit describing what is deep tech. So this is also embedded in Taihill Venture, which is the venture capital I co-founded, embedded into our mission and vision. So by talking about deep tech, we would like to make investments or identify breakthrough technologies that can solve long existing problems. For example, like how we can treat cancer, and just as Professor Chen just said, how we can achieve longevity in a healthy way or in a scientific way. These are long-term problems that people try to find a way to solve, like cell reprogramming, how you can achieve that in a safe way and can do reverse aging by doing that to a patient or a human being. But these are problems. We know people need that, but still we haven't solved that, or we haven't identified a solution successfully. And these we call it deep tech. And these are the opportunities and technologies we try to find and try to identify and then try to help them commercialize a technology that's being developed in the university laboratories. And we identify also 4 moments of truth of deep tech principles. The first is like frame to paradigm. This is like, could reality be different? Then we forge the theory. Is there a way to develop a solution? After the theory being forged is taking the first step. How can we build a solution today? And then it's really how to execute it to change reality, what must happen for the solution to become the new normal. I know like in the past weeks, the Nobel Prize is the biggest news, like people are talking about, so I'll just use like the Nobel Prize of Chemistry as an example to illustrate the 4 principles that we are talking about. For example, the problem or could reality be different is like, can we use computational methodology to design a protein that can perform certain functions or tasks for our use? This could be like, in the past, there is no computational design of protein that can be done to achieve that purpose. So this is like, we form a question in the first place. Then we forge a theory. Is there a way to develop a solution? Like, can we build an algorithm that we can use to design a protein for our use? And Professor David Baker and also the people, the team in DeepMind, they independently created like a Rosetta model and AlphaFold that you can input leverage on the transformer model. You can input a sequence and they can generate a structure of a protein, which and also a de novo sequence or the de novo type of structure that people never seen before that can perform certain tasks. Like this is that you can input leverage on the transformer model. You can input a sequence and they can generate a structure of a protein, which and also a de novo sequence or the de novo type of structure that people never seen before that can perform certain tasks. Like this is a theory that they try to create. Then they take the steps, they accumulate all the data, they create all the pre-training models, they did all this very high level or very complex algorithm to achieve these tasks. They successfully perform the tasks by bridge the gap between sequence and structure. And then change the reality is, can we use the protein that designed by the algorithm, then perform some in vitro testing or express it on the cell line to show how well the performance it could be, how well the function it could be. So like using AlphaFold or using computational design of protein is one example. Like we identify the 4 moments of the deep tech or 4 moments of truth of the deep tech principles, how we can propose a problem, forge a theory that what can be done, then take the steps to try the series that we created or we proposed. Then if we see some successful signals, we execute it to find a commercialization way. And if you watch the release of the Tesla, it's also the same, talking about, say, Optimus, the humanoid. It's the same style. The problem is, can we human interact with robots? And can we create a robot that can perform the daily tasks for us, either in an industrial or like commercialization setup or in a home setup, like they can do the housework for us, for example, the simple way. And is there a way to develop a solution? That's what people do here as well as a part of the deep tech. Like people in Boston Dynamics, they focus on locomotion. People in the West Coast, like Figure AI or Tesla, they more focus on manipulation. And there are a lot of startups or different companies focus on data collection because you need a foundation model like ImageNet perform to compute vision. You also need a very fundamental data set that people can leverage. So that's how, like, what can be done is like also to take the first step, what can be done, and to change the reality. You see like what Optimus can do, like they can talk with you more, like real time. They can grab you a wine, they can play games with you, and they can have casual conversation with you, and they can dance, they can drive a car, things like that. Like this is the first step, or this is the future, like how the reality can be changed with the series or the problems we've initiated long time ago or in the first place. And like by giving these two problems, two examples, I just want to demonstrate how we defined a deep tech, how we identify the different principles or different sections of deep tech, and how we see a technology can be transformed into a real world change. And then I want to just briefly talk why we want to invest in deep tech. Except we talk some very beautiful story, what we want to shape the future, we want to invest in tomorrow. But in reality, at the same time, deep tech is really the biggest value creator since, I would say, the Industrial Revolution. You can see this, the growth of the technology. So basically, the bottom part is what we focus. The early phase of the technology is usually in the labs. People like doing a lot of scientific discovery on a hypothesis is in the early phase. And once a paper is published in the high impact journal, people start to, or the society or the community tend to learn more about what could be done. Then it enters into the growth phase. So people try to create a prototype to demonstrate it, they try to scale up, and they try to commercialize it. So that from the early phase to the growth phase, it already can penetrate like 50% of the market or establish a 50% of the market penetration. And then it becomes a hyper growth phase. It's more like how can you scale it up further, how you can reduce the cost, and how you can do how the market strategy can be formed so it can reach more and more user at the end. And the top part, the last 10 is really the mature phase. It's like the mobile app or the internet. By building a website, how you can just achieve like the last milestone. But if you look at the bottom, that's what I would call deep tech. We want to find the early phase technology that has a huge potential to reach the full market or to establish market penetration, and we want to invest money in so it can go through or it can reach the growth phase or just grow to be a growth phase to the hyper growth phase in a faster way or more efficient way. And also, if you look at the investment in the deep tech sector from 2016 to 2023, I also have another graph here. It increased from 15 billion every year to over 79 billion in 2023. And it's even higher in 2021, and that reduction is is both caused by the COVID, the pandemic, which definitely negative impact economy, and also like the geographic conflicts between like the US and China, which reduce more collaboration and co-investment opportunities. But also, still in this scenario, deep tech investment increased from 15 billion in 2016, and after seven years, it increased to 79 billion every year. And talking about the deep tech, it also contributes tremendously to the society, like 1.9 trillion just from 1996 to 2020, 1 trillion US gross industrial output was from deep tech, 1 trillion US GDP is deep tech contribution, 6.5 million jobs was created because of deep tech companies. It consumed 20% of the VC funding and also average IRR, even though it takes very long time for the deep tech to reach commercialization point from like its lab stage or the early stage, it still can generate 26% IRR, which is pretty stable compared to like if you invest in mobile app or like internet, you will be lucky if you invest in Meta or some Google, things like that. But if you invest in the competitors, the return might not be good. But deep tech, because it has a like natural defense, its IP portfolio, and also the technology barrier, if you can identify a really strong team that can carry the technology to a commercialization stage, there is a less likely chance it will fail at the end. But I will talk more in the later slides how we pick up the companies that to make investments. And this is a new trend we notice in the deep tech sector. It's more like the convergence of technologies. In the past, like different departments in the university works more independently, like mechanical engineering, they will focus their things, computer science will focus on like coding or programming. But now, you can say because AI, or really because the advancement of the different scientific aspects, we see more and more convergence of technologies that can generate the greatest value. AI is a perfect example how you can use artificial intelligence and apply it to different departments, like how you can use it to do material discovery, how you can use it to do drug discovery, and even how you can use AI to help with like the office software to help like make your daily life more convenient, make easier for you to find some answers, makes like your writing more beautiful or more professional. That's like more like the convergence of technologies we see nowadays that creates more growth potential for potential companies. And I wouldn't go too much depth into that, but like if in the past, like material discovery, like matter and energy, computational cognition is like computer science, sensing and motion is also more in the engineering side. They each have a large set of their own that they can work independently on different projects and create benefit. But now it's more like different departments need to work together. For example, take AI for drug discovery, for example. The people with biology background will have more domain experts on how protein works, how a peptide works, how a therapeutics function should be. But people in computer science have more professional knowledge or advanced knowledge on how to build an algorithm that can help achieve this biology task. So in order to, from an academic perspective, in order to publish a high-impact paper, and also in the commercial or professional setup, how you create a successful company, like different functions or different technology need to work together, understand each other's work, then something great can be generated. And this is also then leads to the question we will ask ourselves, and when we see some companies or how we identify ourselves. For deep tech, we want to see whether the technology combined together can help us or improve the way that we observe the world. For example, like we invest in a company named Control Bio. they are focusing on using super high throughput to observe the interaction of microbials. In the past, you don't know how the microbial will function and how it can impact you. But with the high throughput, they call it K-chip, the company invented, there are more ways or more direct ways. You can see like how different types of microbial, if you put them together, screen them, they can interact each other. Then that leads more discoveries on the function of the microbial, how it can impact the human's health. And secondly, wants the company to help us understand the world. And AI is a perfect example how you can use the computational power to discover more findings that without those, it will be hard to achieve. And last but not least, we want the technology to help us better interact with the world. For example, we invest in one company named Axoft. They are a material discovery company. Like they, thinking about brain computing interface, they are a creator or inventor of the material that can help you collect the data from your brain activities. Like with this, if you can know better how your brain functions, you have a better way to explain it. When you can explain it, you can help it to interact better with the world. So like these combined together are the questions we ask ourselves and also our portfolio companies. We want like the different technology to work together, to converge together that can help us achieve either one of those or multiple of these. And I will just use the last couple minutes to talk about how we position ourselves and like how we make investments in reality. So like we are a Boston-based venture fund. We founded 7 years ago in 2017. We also have people in the West Coast. So basically we're based in Boston and Silicon Valley. That's the origin or the source of the top science innovation. So in reality, we work closely with the top tier universities like Harvard, MIT, Stanford, Berkeley, and also like CMU, Yale. Those universities, we work closely with them so we can interact with the labs, the professors, the researchers directly. We maintain a strong relationship with the tech transfer offices so we know what they are developing in their lab and what's going to be spin-off from the universities. That help us to capture the most breakthrough technology or breakthrough innovations, and we can work with them at a very early stage so we can help them to translate the breakthrough technology to a real world application. And we focus on very early stage. That's our role. We invest in the like a pre-seed, seed stage. So the risk is higher, so we need to be involved more directly with the funders, but also because we enter at a very early time that can help us to negotiate seed valuation, which can give us a higher return or potential return at the end. And also, I think the most important thing for an investor today is how you can add in value to the portfolios. You don't just want to write a check and leave, just wait them to give you some return. You want to add some value. Can you find other investors who can provide more resources to the company to grow? Can you help them build a team? Like a lot of the companies only have scientific co-founders. When we interact with them, can you find some senior executive from the industry or find some serial entrepreneurs to work with them so they can identify a commercialization pathway to revenue better? Or can you just help them brainstorm how their commercialization rate could be? Because today there are a lot of platform technologies, how you leverage the platform to identify different assets or pipelines. That's the value we can add to our portfolio companies, and that's extremely useful or valuable those days. And I can just go through this slides first. So that's some very specific criteria, preference we just identified that can help us pick up a project better. So we want the right team and we want the right tech. From the top to bottom are like what's the best scenario and what is the borderline scenario or the qualified scenario we will accept or we want to at least this team to have. So I will start from the qualified, from the bottom to the top, because we want to invest in deep tech. We want to commercialize like a early stage technology or lab developed technology. At least we want to have defensive IP with a clear commercial value. So we think that's the bottom line of the red tech. And beyond that, if this technology can unlock massive application, for example, like take artificial intelligence, for example, if you develop an AI for material discovery, platform technology, can you use it to create like de novo catalysts or some other different materials? Can these materials you created or you improved generate massive application is one level beyond that. And also then beyond that is we want to see these massive application, are they solving a long existing problems? So for us to find the right tech, we more from a problem-driven approach. We want to see whether there is a problem already existed and whether we can find a technology that has a chance to solve it. If we can bridge the gap, then we naturally go to this stage. But if not, we will go from the bottom, the defensive IP, and see whether we can help this technology to shape to even a better or more massive application situation. And then about the right team, at least we want the team to have like very solid postdoc or PhDs from top labs. We want to see the high impact publications from them, at least as academic endorsement on the strong like findings or the advance or the leading positions they achieve. And beyond that, if we can have some senior tech experts from the industry to join the team, we think it's better because like those people will know what the industry wants to find. For example, there are some professors, they are very specialized in startups like build to sell. First, they can generate really high impact papers in conference line journals. And also they have maintained very strong relationship with industrial partners like NVIDIA, this type of AMD, this type of companies. So they know what these companies are looking for. Then they can quickly build something from their lab, go through the prototype, establish the application or the successful that you can apply this technology. Then it's with a senior, like very senior relationship with the industry, they can easily or much easier for them to sell it or for their technology or startup to be acquired. And beyond that, if we can have some world-class scholars who join the team, we think that's even like the best scenario. For example, if the team can have some like Nobel Prize winners or a world-class scholar who is like to develop the first in-class technology in this field, we think that's a extremely like big bonus because that's also to prove like how defensive this IP or this technology could be. And business-wise, of course, this is like one of the bottleneck or one of the pain point a lot of our portfolio companies have because they are spin off from the university lab. And they want to commercialize it, they want to do business using this technology, but they don't know how they can do that. They don't know the first step. So we want this team to have some business person who knows the way. Bottom line, we want some young leaders who is aggressive, who like very open-minded, who is eager to learn. Most likely, these will be student leaders during like in their universities. Like they either has already like created different activities to show their leadership, to show their open-mindedness. So when they work in a company with this scientific co-founders, they can still carry this ability to help them with the commercialization. But more ideally, we want some like senior people from the leading industry or leading players, because these people know the pain points, so they can direct or guide this company to go to the most appropriate or the best way for the commercialization. And ideally, we want to see some like serious entrepreneurs or like successful repeat founders, because they not only know the industry, they experience like how to do a startup, how to generate from 0 to 1 to an exit. So this experience, these are not teachable. These are even not like it's hard to learn. But once you get experience, it's much easier for you to repeat the successful story. I know my time will be running out, so last page I was just talking about how we capture value from a deep tech. So basically, if you see this technology maturity curve, deep tech is the first curve. So, and this is the major focus of Taihill Venture. What we are looking for is really from 0 to 1. We want an all-star team. We want to have a breakthrough tech. We want to tell a big story, and so that can generate a lot of enthusiasm from the capital industry or from the investors. So that by leveraging the growth or the quick or fast growth of the first curve, that can generate the most return in a very quicker way. But also we don't want to like give up on the second curve. The second curve is more like we already know the roadmap, what this company need to do. We already established a profitable business model. We have a strong team to execute the business model, and we have a clear exit pathway and conditions, either through acquisition or go from IPO if it's like can generate stable profit on an annual basis. So this is also could be a good fit to a deep tech, because at this time, you know clearly how the exit strategy would be, and you can work with the team to identify the potential partner to do the merger acquisition. And if they can establish stable revenue and profit, you can also help them to do IPO after a couple of years. So that's what we do by focusing on the first curve, and also by working with a team that already achieve a more like a stable situation. We can like try our best, or we are in the position to capture the most return for ourselves and for the investors. Yeah, I think that's, I have some examples of our portfolios and Professor University we're working with, but I know I'm running out of time. I will end here. So just want to share some insights about why we do deep tech, the current trend, and how we like identify a portfolio to make investment in the real world.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Chai.